Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the New York Jets. Man. I'm here to talk about briefly the first round for the New York Jets, this was the best first round we've had in years. Like, this is, dare I make the proclamation that this is the best first round since the Mangold to Brickashaw-Ferguson round. And I think that was 2004. I could be wrong. But man, this is such a good first round for the New York Jets. Second overall, they get their guy. They get Zach Wilson, who is the consensus number 2 overall pick. And down the stretch, for a lot of people, it started to become almost a 1A, 1B type situation with Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence. Now, I always thought Trevor Lawrence was the consensus number 1 overall pick. I never thought for a second he wasn't going to go first. I'd hoped, but you know. Like, here's the thing. He is a great prospect. Zach Wilson isn't a lot worse. Like, this is not a massive drop-off like it is some years. You're still getting a guy that any other year is going first overall. Like, Zach Wilson, next year, probably first overall pick. Last year, probably a first overall pick. Like, assuming he had this season before last year. Like, not if he declared last year with his statistics, he wouldn't have been. But with the most recent year, then yeah, he first overall pick easily. You know, like, Zach Wilson was such a fantastic quarterback prospect that when you get the consolation prize and it's someone like this who has such a high ceiling, the high ceiling of probably a top 5 quarterback in the league, truly. He does everything correctly. Sorry, I accidentally bumped my watch. This is just such a home run for the Jets at 2. So his college statistics on his final year in BYU. 12 games, a 73.5 completion percentage, which is a franchise record for completion percentage in BYU. And remember, they had a very good quarterback there named Steve Young. You guys remember him? He's in the Hall of Fame now, which I want to put that in there for everyone that was saying, oh, but, you know, Zach Wilson, it's a small school, so how do you know if anyone... Steve Young came out of there. He's a Hall of Famer. Probably the best left-handed quarterback of all time. Came out of BYU. 3,692 yards, 33 touchdowns to 3 interceptions in his most recent year in college. Plus on the ground, and this is a big number, he added 254 yards rushing, but 10 touchdowns on the ground in this last season. So that's 43 touchdowns to 3 picks total, on the ground and in the air for Zach Wilson. Plus, I know they're not a very good team, the UCF Knights. I know they're not like a powerhouse or anything, but he absolutely carved them up in the Boca Raton Bowl. That was a very fun game to watch if you're a Zach Wilson guy. And he just absolutely destroyed UCF. It was a massacre. I think they benched him by the third quarter. It was over very quickly. So that's wonderful. The Jets, they get their guy. Zach Wilson, I also want to say this, and I don't mean to slander Sam Darnold, because I like Sam Darnold, and I'm always going to root for him in his career. But Zach Wilson, when walking down the stage, when he was just high-fiving everybody, when he was screaming, getting loud, and then the brief little presser afterwards, it was only about 20, 30 words for him, of just how hype he was. He's shown more excitement and more energy in the first 5 hours of being a New York Jet than Sam Darnold showed in his entire career with the Jets. And I don't like saying that because I like Sam Darnold. But you look at the difference between Sam Darnold and Zach Wilson, and you see that one of them was a person who probably needed to go to a smaller market team in Sam Darnold, who had that, vibe, chill, dude bro, valley guy feel that he just wanted to go to some small place where he's not in the limelight, versus Zach Wilson, who at this moment is just a total swag master, it seems, for the Jets at 2. He has the possibility to be one of the most confident quarterbacks the Jets have ever had. Certainly the way he carries himself right now to rival Mr. Broadway Joe right here on my shelf, which is very exciting for Jets fans with Zach Wilson. This is slam dunk pick. You can see how excited Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas were after they made the pick. The audio is now on Jets Twitter. I highly recommend you go listen to it. They're all excited. Zach Wilson with the words, and I know, you might. Here's the difference. Sam Darnold just said he was excited to be a Jet. He what's the word I'm looking for? He just said, he was happy to be drafted. I guess he didn't really say he was happy to be a Jet. He just said he was happy to be drafted, and he had a very cookie cutter response. Zach Wilson just point blank, there's no other team I'd rather play for than the New York Jets. And then he talked about afterwards, more so, he talked to Josh McCown, and Josh McCown just totally soothed his, thoughts about New York and talked about how good of a franchise we're going to be. Which Josh McCown, man, if we don't bring him back as a quarterback coach in the next few years, I'm going to be genuinely upset because I freaking love Uncle Josh. And I want this guy back on our team so badly. He super underrated Jets quarterback of the decade. I would put him probably second in the decade for the Jets. Maybe not second, but he was very underrated. He took a very, very bad team and made them win 5 games, which was shocking for me and Josh McCown. Again, just, selling us to Zach Wilson, getting him excited to come here, which is wonderful. And then later on in the round, right, 14th overall pick, get the news, traded the pick, I believe it was the Vikings, trade pick to the New York Jets. And we didn't have to give up that much. We traded our first round pick, the 23rd overall, and 2/3 to move up. And we got a very, very late 4th, but we still got a 4th back. And we moved up, 9 spots to go select Elijah Vera Tucker. And I believe there were 3 offensive linemen taken after Elijah Vera Tucker. So we would have been getting not the cream of the crop at 23. We would have been getting, probably a decent offensive lineman. But trading up to go get Elijah Vera Tucker, easily the best interior offensive lineman in this draft class. Or easily the best guard, excuse me. So that is just fantastic value for the Jets, trading up. If you go by draft value, I believe it's by Pro Football Focus, which I don't love all of the stuff they do, but I do like their draft stuff and their draft value for picks and what have you. The Jets gave up 1,180 draft value to move up, and they received 1,136 draft value. So that's not a big drop-off, and you're getting the best guard in this draft class, bar none, which is huge for the Jets. Because now on one side of the, what's the word I'm looking for, offensive line, you're going to have Mekhi Becton at 370, and now Elijah Vera Tucker at 315. So you're going to have about 700 pounds of offensive linemen on one side to defend Zach Wilson. And here's the thing. The board broke very, very, very well for the New York Jets. Because now Creed Humphrey and Wyatt Davis are both still on the board as it stands. Which, very, very, very good center prospect. Very, very good, I believe, Wyatt Davis is guard, I believe. Or I can't remember if he's guard or tackle, but he can move to guard. I might have it wrong, but I think he's a tackle that's going to move to guard in the next level, or projects to. And then I know that Creed Humphrey is center, which, if you can get either one of those, and there's the thought of maybe the Jets would want to trade back, because if they don't, they have the 2nd round pick and then no 3rds, so maybe you want to trade that 2nd round pick back and get a couple of 3rds and maybe a 5th or something. If you can take the offensive line this year and make it Becton at left tackle, Elijah Vera Tucker at left guard, and then either Creed Humphrey at center or Connor McGovern at center, then Wyatt Davis and or Connor McGovern at guard, and then George Fant at right tackle. That's a crazy line for Zach Wilson. That is a crazy good offensive line to help support your young franchise quarterback in Zach Wilson. If you can turn that off, that is a wall that you're putting around him. And not just that, but a relatively cheap wall for the next few years. George Fant's deal isn't that bad. Connor McGovern's is a bit higher, but you'd be getting 3 players to guard him. You'd have Elijah Vera Tucker, you would have Wyatt Davis or Creed Humphrey, and then Mekhi Becton, all on the line on rookie contracts for just dirt cheap, which is such a value. I was interested. I would have been okay. And here's my thought, because I think Joe Douglas is a very smart GM, and you can see that with his trades in this draft, and also the fact, this is a fun fact real quick before I get into what I wanted to actually say. From 2000 to 28 or 2019, the Jets took 2 offensive linemen in the first round, and they were D'Brickashaw Ferguson and Nick Mangold. In his first 2 drafts, Joe Douglas has taken 2 offensive linemen, which is fantastic. And I wanted to mention this because I think Joe Douglas is a very, very smart football mind, and I think he understands every bit of contract. I think we're going to trade back tomorrow from 34 because I think Joe Douglas understands the value of a first-round pick opposed to a early second. I think if he wanted to get Creed Humphrey or if he wanted to get Wyatt Davis above anything else, I think he would have traded up to the 32nd pick, given up maybe a third to move up 2 spots like next year, or maybe a 4th or what have you. Moved up 2 spots because then you could have gotten a cheap 5th-year option for that guard or that tackle or whoever you would have wanted. And so for that reason, I think he's going to trade back tomorrow from the 34th overall pick. But this, kind of honest, just being completely honest with everybody. Recently, I've been doing so much Astro content and so much Ranger content. I don't want to say the Jets had become an afterthought, because they hadn't. I still love the New York Jets. But I began to not think about them as much. They weren't constantly on my mind of what they're going to do, which is strange because I still maintain they're probably my very favorite team of any of the ones that I follow, because they were the first team I ever liked. But recently I felt myself not being as excited for them as I was the Rangers or the Astros. But after a night like tonight, where Joe Douglas gets the franchise guy in Zach Wilson, gets another franchise tackle in Elijah Vera Tucker, and tomorrow could get a third franchise offensive lineman in 2 years at the 34th overall pick, or trade back and get value in the 3rd round, is just... It's so exciting to see the Jets finally relinquish control to a football mind in Joe Douglas. That is just such... We have a good future. And I genuinely believe it this time. I don't think this is going to be like the Darnold. And all the people that are online making jokes about Zach Wilson and how he's going to be the next Darnold, I don't buy it. I simply don't. Because Darnold came in to a very bad situation. He came into a team that had no talent around him, that had a bad coach in Todd Bowles, and a bad general manager in Mike Maccagnan. Whereas Zach Wilson is coming into a team that is much better offensively, has a much better offensive coordinator in Mike LaFleur. I think it's Mike LaFleur. I get the 2 mixed up. I don't remember who's Matt and who's Mike LaFleur, but I think it's Mike LaFleur for offensive coordinator, that have Robert Saleh in the head coaching position, which is fantastic, and have Joe Douglas as the general manager, which is something that Sam Darnold didn't have. And this is exciting. This just simply... I am really excited to be a Jets fan right now. And I haven't been this excited for the New York Jets probably since week 1 of 2018. After that Lions game, the 48-17 game. I haven't been this excited. I'm going to have trouble sleeping tonight. We play, or the Jets have we don't play, but we have the picks tomorrow. Hopefully, I don't know. I'm ecstatic either way. Whether we stay at 34 and we take offensive line, or we take corner, or whatever we do, or if we trade back and we get more 3rd-round picks, I'm happy with whatever we do, because Joe Douglas absolutely knocked it out of the park in the 1st round. Man, oh man. Say it with me, guys. It feels good to be a Jets fan right about now. Oh, man. I can't explain how happy I am to be a Jets fan at this moment in time. The future is bright. It's bright as can be, man. I can't stop smiling. But that's it. I'm extremely tired. There's a lot more stuff to do tomorrow for the Jets, and the Astros also play. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. And I am so happy to say it. Go Jets!